portion of our Maine adventure. And our first big stop in Maine is Boothbay Harbor and the surrounding area. I've loved Boothbay Harbor since I was 18 years old, and we've been back now once 4 years ago, and are tickled to be back again and exploring some of the same places we've been, but also some others.
Boothbay is a great place to come and visit. We've been here in the fall, September, and now in the summer, June, July, and it's really spectacular. The water is so clear, the contrast with the rocky coast and the quaint villages and all of the really good seafood. We had the also extra privilege of visiting a friend whom we've known for a number of years, who lives close by, and that added just an extra touch that was very special.
We were very fortunate. We chose a campground, Shore Hills Campground, that's near to Boothbay Harbor. They have a shuttle that goes down there, although the schedule is like only every 3 hours, so you have to be prepared to wait at times. But we got a site, we really lucked into a site right on the waterfront, and it was just incredible as far as the views and how quiet it was, and everybody at the campground was very friendly.
Now, the shuttle is not free. It's run by the campground, and it is a for-profit. So there's a few dollar charge to go into town.
It's minor.
But parking in town is very problematic, so having the shuttle was a real blessing. One of the things that we did while we were there is we took a tour of Casco Bay by boat, and that was really special. We went out and about in the bay, and you could see the lobster boats and the houses and the villages that surround the bay. One thing that was special that we didn't get to do this time, but I highly recommend it if you get into the area, is go to the Dolphin restaurant. We got to see it from the boat, but they have the best lobster bisque, in my estimation, on the planet. That's no paid endorsement. That's just from having eaten there 4 years ago, and it was really amazing.
The boat, it's a ferry boat, actually comes out of Portland to Bailey's Island at Cook's Landing, and what happens is the people that come out of Portland get off at Cook's Landing. They have lunch, but then while they're having lunch, they send the boat back out again with another crowd, and that's what we did. So we went out on the boat, I think it was a couple hours.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, and just went around. We saw, who was the gentleman's house we saw?
One of the key, or one of the highlights of the trip was Robert Peary's house.
Yes.
Robert Peary was the first person to pole, to go to the North Pole, and he has a house there on one of the remote islands. And it's pretty cool house seen from the boat.
It's pretty neat to see. So anyway, that was a really nice little trip, and then it comes right back in, and then what happens is the people who finish lunch then get back on the boat and they head back to Portland. But it was for us, it was the perfect amount of time to just get out on the water and get a different perspective of the.
We actually lucked out in that, and we didn't know it, lack of planning on our part, but this time it actually worked in our favor. We were in Boothbay during Windjammer Days, and Windjammer Days is a time when they bring a lot of the older sailing ships into the harbor, and you get to see them sail, and there are actually some of them you can actually even go out on. There's one, the Mary E., that is owned by the Maine Maritime Association Museum, that you can go on and look through it and see what it took to make a sailing ship back in the 1800s, early 1900s.
It's been beautifully redone. It's a gorgeous boat.
And so it's a very special time. It's crowded, but not so much that it impacts the enjoyment of the days.
There's a lot of activity during that week. I think it's roughly the third week of June. They have a Blessing of the Fleet one day. They have antique boats, and of course then they have the parade of the huge boats, and they have a street parade, fireworks. I mean, it turned out to be a great week to be there.
So, one of the other things that we did, and we have done while we were here, and I'm going to let Barbie tell you about it because it's her special place. It's my special place from a photography standpoint because it's extraordinarily beautiful. But if we were living in this area, I probably, if I couldn't find her, I know where she'd be. And that's at the Maine Botanical Gardens.
We're so excited to be here at the Maine Botanical Gardens. We were here 4 years ago when we visited Boothbay, and we loved it. And we understand they've made additions, so this is going to be fun.
If you get into the area of Boothbay Harbor, this is a must-see.
So come along with us. Yes, it's incredible. They've done, since we were here 4 years ago, they've made some improvements. They've got a huge new visitor center. They've added a butterfly garden. You can tell they're just putting more and more facilities there and money into it. We were here last time in the fall, and I thought it was gorgeous in the fall. So I was excited to come back in this time of year and see all the flowers. I mean, they had dogwoods blooming like I've never seen before, and they smell delicious. And then just about any kind of flower you could want to see was blooming. And you could also see where, like, the next round of flowers were going to bloom later this year. And the children's garden is one of our favorites. They have a little doll house for the kids and gardens all around there. They have a reading room. It just, I could go on, and he's right. I could spend days there just soaking it up. And if we lived here, I'd be volunteering there. You'd see me out there pulling weeds and putting in plants. It'd be fabulous.
And from a practical standpoint, if you come, there is lots of RV parking. There's a dedicated bus space for large RVs. But then if you have a smaller one, they have a large multiple leveled parking lot that small RVs will have should have no issues finding a spot.
So make Boothbay and the surrounding area something to see. Boothbay's the more touristy area, but all along the coast nearby you have the quiet little towns as well that are, they're just authentic Maine.
We're glad you've been with us on this trip, and we hope you enjoy what you see.
Make the best of every day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye now. you.